All right, so here I'm going to do problem number 26. So I'm going to label this problem 26 that I just did before. And that one had a loan amount of 24,000. The interest was, excuse me, let's see, 26. The interest was 8%. The terms on the deal, this one was for 15 years. Number of years is the term. And the payment, we had to figure that one out. That equaled, I'm going to use the payment formula. If you remember that, if you look up on that worksheet, it's the principal, that one, times, and you have to put in the times, parenthesis, the APR, which is this one, and divided by 12, close that parenthesis, that's the numerator, divided by, open parenthesis, it's 1 minus, open parenthesis, 1 plus APR, which is this one, divided by 12, close parenthesis, to the, open parenthesis, negative, let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. Negative, I want the number 12, negative 12 times the number of years, which is here, close parenthesis, and we had a payment before of $229.36. Oh, says I should have another parenthesis on the end. Yes. And we got it right. Now let's make this have the right number of decimals. So I'm on, go to that box, Control 1, I can format it a number with 2 decimal places. Okay. So the new balance, we're starting off with 24,000. Then after 1, we have, at the end of the 1 month, it's going to be, we started with 24,000. The interest would be 0.08, this is after 1 month, oops, equals 0.08 divided by 12 times this. And that was the 160 we had. The amount paid on the principal would be equal to what's left of the 229 minus the 160. So that's what I'm going to put in here. I'm going to write equals this box always. So I want to make it $B. Come on, move over there. $4, that box, minus that box. Enter, that's how much we paid on the principal. And so we get a new balance, which is going to equal the old balance, equal the old balance minus this, creates a new balance. And then we could just keep going on down. So that should be after 1, 2, 3. Oh. This is supposed to equal that. I should have did that. And then if I copy down, and let's see, let's Control 1, make these all numbers with 2 decimal places. And that, if you look back at what I did on the assignment is, except for a little bit of rounding difference, is what we did for problem 26. So now 27 says change the loan amount to $12,000, change the interest rate to 7%, and it says we're going to pay always, so our payment is not going to be this, it's going to be $250, and so so I need, this needs to equal that, because I didn't do that. Now that looks right. And there's a loan for $12,000 paying $250, and we're supposed to do this for 3 years. Okay, let's see. If this is after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After 3 years, it'd be 360. It says 4 years and 5 years, so I need to get up to 60 something. There we go. So I have to run this down further. They wanted us to run this down at 7% for 3 years. So that would be 3 times 12 is 36. And so we'd still owe $5,108.96. Now they said, what if it was the 12,000 at 7.5%? Oh, we can only pay 250. Ooh, that's what it was. I did this wrong. Okay, so I got to go up here and change this payment again. I need to go back to the old payment formula, which was equal to, the payment formula was this amount times parentheses the APR, which is this one, divided by 12, close parenthesis, divided by parenthesis 1 minus parenthesis 1 plus the interest divided by 12, close parentheses, to the parenthesis number of years, negative 12 times the number of years, which is that box, close parenthesis, for the exponent, close parenthesis. And this is for, they wanted to do for 3 years. So our payment, if we did it for 3 years, would be $370, and we are only making $250, so we can't do the 7% for 3 years. So if we go for 7.5%, let's make that show an extra decimal. Command Control 1. Number, let's show 2 decimal places. Percentage, 2 decimal places. 7.5% for 4 years. Our payment would be $290. So we still couldn't do it. So then we have, if we went to 5 years, the interest rate would be 8%, they said. And that one is the only one we can do. The payment is finally under $250. And then it said, once you figure out what payment, choosing the plan, which loan best meets your needs. Oh, okay, so I guess we didn't have to run this one out. By the way, this is problem 28, but we could. And so we'd have to go for, this is 5 years, so we'd have to go to 60 payments. And it should pay us off after 60 payments. Yep, at 60 it's 0. Okay, so that's 27. Whoop, I said 28. That was 27. 27. Okay. The next one was 31, and I think we were this is a little different one. It says we're doing a $5,000 loan. We have a $5,000 balance on a credit card. Our APR is 21%, and we want to pay it off in 3 years. So we have to pay $188.38 a month. That figures out the payment. This is problem now number 31. And that's just using that payment formula. And so 5,000, and it should pay off in 3 years, but our payment's 188. So how much total are we going to pay? Well, that would be equal to this times 3 years times 12 payments a year. So that's how much we're going to pay. And then it asks for how much we actually paid. So that's how much we actually paid. We got our payment, how much we paid, and then what percent was paid on interest. Percent so that would be that would equal parenthesis the total paid minus the amount of the loan. That would be how much we paid on interest, and we would divide it by the amount of the total loan. Enter, and we can ask this to change this to a percent, so we can Control 1, make this be a percentage, and say okay. So 26% was paid in interest on that one. Now 33, they want us to run a spreadsheet showing this. And 33 says we're taking out a loan or credit card. Credit card of $1,200 we're starting with. Interest rate on the credit card is 18%. And we're making payments of $200. So this stuff, this is 33. So we can get rid of this. And so, but they have us do one other thing in here. We have a payment, and so I'll have to change this spreadsheet now. So let's just clear all of this. The columns we want now is, okay, I'll just put it the way they had it, the month. Then they said the payment. Then the expenses. And then interest. And the new balance. Okay, so this would be, we start off with 0, and after 1 month, 2 months, and I took that way down there, and then the payment is no payment, well, at 0, but eventually the payment will be equal to this and always equal to that. Dollar, dollar. What's going on here? B, dollar, enter. Expenses, they want us to do $75 more. The interest will be equal to the new balance, whatever the balance was here. Oop, not that. This balance times that box always. Get in the right place here. That one, take out one of those dollar signs. There we go. Divided by 12. That would be the interest for 1 month on whatever the balance was. And the balance should have been equal to that box. And so our new balance would be equal to the old balance minus the payment plus any new expenses plus the interest. There's our new balance. And now we should be able to just copy these down and we should see it going down. Whoop. I want this to say, that stayed the same. This one, the expenses were supposed to say 75. 75. So establish the pattern and stay the same. Okay. So it would take us, let's do this without decimals over here. And one number with no decimals. After 1 month, $200 payment, $75 more expenses. After we got it paid off in almost a year, 10 months. 11 months we'd have it paid off. Okay. That's what they wanted us to do on that one. Okay, now 34. Now they said repeat this problem paying $300. So I just go up here and change this to $300. And I pay it off in 6 months. You notice I pay a lot less interest too. Go back to the 200. And I'm going to pay quite a bit in interest. I could actually add this up for down to here, but you can see I'm going to be paying quite a bit of interest. Okay, just on $200 plus some $75 more expenses. I'm paying over $200, but to pay the $1,200 off, this is my interest on it. There's 30, 60, 70, 80, 90, probably $100 extra I pay for the card loan. All right. 34 was just a matter of changing this to 300. And that's 34. And now do this again. Let's see, what's 35? Credit card, whoa. So now we got a initial. $300 initial balance, which is not a lot. This is number 35 now. And the interest rate is 18%. It says, what's the balance after there? Now this time the expenses is not 75, but 175. So let's just make this equal to the one above. All the way down. And I've done, it should not add up. It should be the same all the way down. 175. Oh, that's because I did something. Okay, 175. 175. Now they're all 175. Okay. So I have a payment of 300, expenses there. The interest is, okay, what happened here? $450. Oh, they changed the amount. Oh, so the payment isn't always 300. So let's just delete that. And it says the first payment is 300. This is more like our project's going to be. And then they pay on two, they pay 150. And then they pay 400. And then they pay 500. Then they pay 0. Then they pay 100, 200, 100. 100, 200, 100. And the expenses are 175. Then it's 150. And so the amount they paid and got was, so okay, 350 the next month, 450 the next month. Boy, they're starting to go on a spending spree. They like the power of the credit card. 100 when they didn't pay a payment. Then 100, again, starting to get a little bit more conservative here. 150, needed to buy some extra room, not 1,500. 150, and then 80. And so they paid off quite a bit, but then they pretty much paid the same amount they got, but there was a little interest added, so it went up a little bit. And then they paid a little bit more, so they got it down a little bit. And then they paid a little bit more, and they got it down a little bit more. Then they had this one missed payment, and they had added $100 to it, plus the interest. And then they paid the same amount, but it still went up. And then the expenses, they paid $50 more than their expenses, so it went down a little bit. And they had a payment was $20 more, and so they still, even though they started with 300 and they made payments after 8 months, they're still owe money, 126. Even though most of their payments were either equal or more than how much they spent, except for the 1 month. And they still owe on their credit card. Okay? That's it for this one.